Thank you.
What made you think of coming back to England to box?
Because, well, I've talked to a lot of people involved in the boxing business, and I realized that Canada doesn't really support too many of its athletes, and I've got to go where my sport is big, either the States or England, and this is the birthplace of the sport.
Well, of course, there was another Canadian heavyweight, which was DeWitt.
Yeah, Willie DeWitt.
He done fairly well. Obviously, he didn't get as far as a world title shot. Was that what sort of put you back a bit because of that?
No, see, me and him are in a different boat. He went to the Olympics, and he went to an Olympics where there was a boycott. Most of the European countries weren't there, and he won a silver medal. I went to Olympics where all the countries were there. The Cubans weren't there, but I already beat the Cuban. A lot of people try and compare me and him, but I don't think we're comparable. He got off to a bad start in his professional career. He started boxing, bum, worse, bum, and then all of a sudden he met against Burt Cooper, and Burt Cooper gave him a beating. But in my professional career, I'm looking at that to go a lot better. You know, step by step, slowly up to the top.
Right. Now, your first prominence really came when you was in the '84 Olympics against Tyrell Biggs. What do you remember about that?
I remember that I just finished winning the World Junior Championships, and I never really was up against a guy that could move and could box as well as I could. And it was kind of weird going in there and realizing this guy's the same size as me, punches just as hard as me. But, you know, I wasn't scared. I was young, eager, and hungry.
Yeah, of course, you was only 19 then as well.
18.
18?
Yes.
How many fights did you have previous to that?
Well, I've had a lot, but, you know, I was a junior, that's under 20.
Yeah. Right, and then of course you boxed over here in the Commonwealths. You had Oyabola.
Yeah. Actually, even before that, I boxed Robert Wells, who won a bronze medal at '84. Right after that, I lost in the quarterfinals in the '84 Olympics to Tyrell Biggs. I came across the year after and boxed Robert Wells.
Yeah, that was in Bletchley, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you knocked him out in the second, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and obviously he's retired now anyway.
Yeah, I hear he's been what do you guys call it, a Bobby policeman?
Yeah, that's right, he became a policeman. Now, of course, you won the gold medal last year's Olympics. How much did that mean to you?
It meant a lot to me because I set goals in my career, and one of my goals was to win an Olympic gold medal. And I remembered, you know, the weeks or the months leading up to that. They don't remember silver medalists. And I said to myself, yeah, I have to win. That's all I had in my head. I was dreaming about it. I went to bed. I pre-dreamed about the fights ahead of time, me knocking people out, and it just went out and it happened.
Did you have a big fanfare when you returned back to Canada?
You see, before the Olympics, Canada didn't really, I don't know, they felt that I had a good chance of winning, but they didn't really publicize it too much. I didn't really get the press that I should have got, the press that I should have got. But when I returned, all my friends showed up at the airport. My mother was really happy. In fact, I won the gold medal for my mother, not for myself.
Right, and Riddick Bowe was one of the people you met?
Yeah, I met him in my final fight. The day before that, he knocked out a Czechoslovakian guy, and he was running up his mouth saying, yeah, I'm going to beat LENNOX LEWIS, I'm going to take him to school. And I'm saying, this guy's on TV saying this, he wait. So I really wanted to get him.
Right. Just zoom in slightly. Well, and of course you've just turned professional with Frank Maloney. How did you come in contact with Frank Maloney?
Frank Maloney got into contact through, actually, my brother was at, I think, one of Nigel Bent's after parties, after he won a fight, and he was talking to, I think, somebody there, and then Frank got the number, and he phoned up my lawyer, John Honorworth, who was looking after me at the time. And at that time, we were going around to numerous people discussing, meeting with them and, trying to learn what we could. And we said we're going to give everybody a fair chance of getting a hold of Lennox Lewis.
There's been a lot of illustrious names winning Olympic medals. Ali, Frazier, Foreman, so to speak. Obviously the last big name at heavyweights was Tyrell Biggs, and he come across Tyson. Obviously it's very early for you yet to think about Tyson. How do you feel when you won the Olympic gold medal? How did you feel, compared to all the other great fighters that actually won the medals?
I felt, it's a great honor to do that. I really felt good about myself. I said, yeah, although living in Canada, and a lot of people have that preconception about, yeah, the Russians are really good, the East Germans are good, you can't beat those guys, the Americans are like the best. I said to myself, well, they're just like me. They're, it's whoever's the hungriest, and I think I'm bad, so, I went out to prove my point.
Right, now you're going to box in England. What do you know much about the English heavyweight scene?
Not too much about it, but I'm ready. I'm ready for anything.
Obviously Bruno's the biggest name here anyway.
Yeah.
We've got the British heavyweight champion, which is Gary Mason. Have you ever seen him fight?
No, I've never seen him fight. I've heard stories, but I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him one day.
And obviously you don't know who your opponent would be yet. What are your sights at the moment? A fight every month or so when you actually start back here, or what?
Well, I'm going to leave that up to Frank and see. We're going to probably just sit down and discuss it, all of us together with John Honower, and work out some kind of agenda.
So obviously the main title you want to win first is going to be the British title, or you're going to bypass that, do you think?
No, like I said, sit down with Frank and see what he says, what he thinks, and we'll take it from there.
Right. Also, many people who win medals are often approached by the top promoters in the States, i.e. Don King, Bob Arum, the Duvers, so forth. Was there much contact with any of them after you won the medal?
In fact, I'll tell you, the first people that really contacted me were the Duvers. Because Edgerton Marcus turned professional with the Duvers, and they wanted to get Lennox Lewis too, but just so happens that it didn't really work out too good.
It does seem quite a big bit of news that you've come back to England.
Yes.
Well, tell me a bit about your family history over here.
Well, I was born over here. I was born over here in East London. From East London, my parents came from Jamaica, and my mother went to Canada to just for a new way of life, and she sent for me at the age of 9, and at the age of 12 I started boxing. Actually, I was doing a lot of other sports. I was playing basketball. I was just an athlete, playing basketball, soccer, football, and boxing. And after the third time getting a strap in Canada, because when you come from England, you got that rough house in you. And if somebody calls your name, just beat them up. So anyway, he said to get in some kind of contact sport, and I got into boxing. I enjoyed it because if you would win or you would lose, you would still get a trophy. And at that time, my friends were always boasting about, yeah, I've got more trophies than you. And it's different than a team sport because you would have to wait until the end of the season. The end of the season takes about 4 or 5 months, but you could have about 9, 10 fights in 4 or 5 months and have 9 or 10 big trophies. So I figured boxing was better.
How many amateur fights have you had, roughly?
I would say about 130.
As you was boxing as an amateur, did you ever have any idols in boxing?
Yes, I had. Muhammad Ali was a great idol of mine. I liked Hagler, just the way his mental approach to everything. I liked Sugar Ray, flashiness. I liked Hitman, Thomas Hearns.
Do you actually model yourself on any of these fighters?
Well, I know some of my friends could say, yeah, I've got the Hagler kind of beard, and
I just noticed that when you mentioned it.
I dance around sometimes like Ali. Sugar Ray Leonard, I do some of his tricks. I would say I combine them all and make Lennox Lewis.
Right, so obviously I'm going to come to Tyson now. What do you think of him as the heavyweight champion now?
I think I think he's a good heavyweight, but I have some reservations about a role model for little kids. I would rather myself as a role model type, because just the way he approaches certain situations, I don't think that's right for his image.
Well, of course, he had a bad upbringing.
Yeah, that has something to do with it. I guess his environment did a great damage on him, but for little kids, I would want to be a positive and powerful role model for them.
Yeah, of course, Donny Lalonde represents battered children. He goes on about that quite a lot. Trying to think what else to ask now. I lost the questions. I think that's about it, really.
All right.
Right, thanks a lot, Lennox.
Take care.
Cheers.